Thank you very much. It's been like a wow factor. Like, okay, you left Ericsson, an international organization, a very top role. You went all the way back to Nigeria to become secretary to a local government, and now you're a royal father. And some of them just don't get it. Who is an arrow? What do you do? Do you get paid? Do you drink blood? Do you do people's hearts? And so on and so forth. I had this question, and I found myself having to enlighten people. This is our culture. So my role, first and foremost, is to support um, His Royal Majesty, is to advise where need be, also bring in ideas on how we can develop this kingdom. And that's one thing we all owe this country. As long as you're a Nigerian, you have to come back and play your role. The Aro Oba Elegushi of the Gate Kingdom is, it's a white cap chief of Lagos. You go into seclusion for 7 days. It's called Ikbebi. And when you come out of your Ikbebi, you now do your Iwiye, and you are a proper white cap chief. Um, but this rites as well is nothing but prayers.
Chief Lekan Bakare, one of the prominent chiefs of the Elegushi Kate Kingdom, has shared some mind-blowing facts with legit.ng. The young monarch, who was recently met at an event, was pleased to share his thoughts on traditional rulership and how he was able to fit in, considering the fact that he is a tech-savvy person. The Aro Oba Elegushi was a software engineer at Ericsson and has made major landmarks in the international market before coming down to Nigeria to assume his present role. In this one-on-one interview with Temitope Olaiya and Emmanuel Osodi, the highly intellectual monarch shared a few tips on traditional rites in order to change the archaic mentality many have about the processes involved in sitting on a royal stool. Give us a little background information, because we know you are a tech person, a science person, and now being a traditionalist somehow.
Yes, I was born in Lagos in the year 1973. Attended Corona Primary School, Apapa, Federal Government College, Port Harcourt. Had a little couple of years at Bayero University in Kano before I now proceeded to Germany to further my studies. I graduated as a telecommunications electronics engineer. I've worked with a couple of companies around the world: Siemens, Samsung United Kingdom, Sun Microsystems, they're now Oracle, um, Vodafone, Ericsson, Nationwide, Building Society United Kingdom, and some couple of others. Um, so I've always been in that tech line, as you rightly mentioned. Um, some points, obviously, I decided to come back home to see where I could be of service to my society, to my nation. On getting back here, I just realized that you know my the neighborhood in which I grew up, Apapa. I went there and I wasn't happy with the state at which I met the place, and I thought, okay, maybe I could start in my community to make a difference. What can I do to help bring back the glory days of Apapa as of then? And that's when I became more a foot soldier in Apapa, became more active in the day-to-day politics and environmental situation there. And at some point, I decided to run for office of the chairman of the local government in Apapa. Um, Fortunately and unfortunately, Um, I didn't succeed. I didn't get the ticket. But I was nominated to be the secretary to the local government then, which I was very grateful, and I took with all.
Okay, so I'm so sorry to cut you there. So, being the secretary to the local government chairman, how did this fit into your personality, considering your achievements and all? Didn't you feel it was a little beneath you at that point?
Yes, a lot of people told me that why I was asked that questions a lot of times, like why local government? Why didn't you come to the state? Why didn't you go to the federal and everything? But you see, when you look at Nigerians' problem, it's a bottom-up approach. It's not, up-down, and that's the mistake we make. And back then, people used to see the local government as, office for uneducated or less educated or less privileged. But we forget that the local government is the closest arm of government to the people. Now, if you put in somebody who is undereducated or less educated, whichever we want to put it, there on the helm of the local government, what are you going to get? You are not going to get productivity. You're not going to get development. You're going to get as far as his mentality goes. And that's why, I was one who really advocated that we should start having university graduates. We should start having exposed people at the local government, because that's where it needs to be tackled from. When you tackle it from the local government, then it becomes easier for the state government and the federal government. The change has to come from the bottom, and that's why I felt that I took that position as a secretary to the local government.
And how were you able to function in that capacity?
Well, it wasn't easy, to be very honest, because I was still dealing with some people who were not as educated as I am, people who had different ideology, people who felt that, there was no need for this, where I personally think that there was need for it. Living in all these countries, in Germany, United Kingdom, United States, especially United Kingdom, everything you want to do is the home office. In Germany, there's something called the Rathaus. It's your visa renewal, is your anything is a Rathaus. And Rathaus is your local government. Like, imagine you want to apply for visa and you have to go to the local government. Is our local government capable of that? No. But over there, it's all the local government. In UK, you just send, you don't even go, you mail in, and they give you a response. If you need your benefit, any kind of benefits or housing, you go to the local government. Do we have that here? No. And that's where the change has to come from. And so it was a struggle, but I had to put my feet down and try to create my own personal niche, and I started to change it portion by portion, step by step. And luckily for me, again, I now became the chairman of the body of secretaries to local government and LCDs, all the whole 57. And that created open doors for a beautiful working relationship with the secretary to the state government, Mrs. Falasha Jaji, and Mr. Governor himself. And they were very, very, very supportive. So unfortunately, every good thing's come to an end. Before my tenure came to an end, I had actually aspired to move on with my experience at the local level. But my late father, who, of blessed memory, who was the last Aro Oba Elegushi, because we're from the Elegushi royal family, passed on, and His Royal Majesty Oba Said Ademola Elegushi Akushinlade just found it very, very necessary that I succeed him, and that's how he took me out of the whole political scene and said, you need to come back home and serve your people. And obviously, family calls, I had no choice. And that's how I emerged as the Aro Oba Elegushi of Ikate Kingdom.
So now, as the Aro Oba, what do you do particularly? How do you function here?
Yes, again, thanks to my experience at the local government. Now, Ikate Elegushi Kingdom is quite vast. One of the fastest growing real estate corridor in the country today. We have the different family branches. So my role, first and foremost, is to support His Royal Majesty, is to advise where need be, where he needs my advice, is to present a proper representation of his family, and also bring in ideas on how we can develop this kingdom. We have the Elegushi Beach, we have a couple of real estate investments, which I'm fully involved in. We have our traditional culture as well, our heritage, which we're trying to showcase to the world. We're trying to attract tourism in here as well. We try to support the state government, the governor, to achieving his team's agenda in our own community, making sure that what they expect we pass on to our people and advise them on how to live right, how to support the government.
So people in the diaspora, what was their thoughts about you taking on this traditional role? Because you mentioned they had their opinion with you running, that office politically, and now this.
Well, I think for some of them it's been like it's been like a wow factor. Like, okay, you left Ericsson, an international organization, a very top role. You went all the way back to Nigeria to become secretary to a local government, and now you're a royal father. And some of them just don't get it, you know. And there's been the same question: what's your role as an arrow? What is an arrow? Who is an arrow? What do you do? Do you get paid? Do you drink blood? Do you eat people's heart?
We are going to get into that soon.
And so on and so forth. I had this question, and I found myself having to enlighten people a lot. And one beautiful thing is that this is our culture. Um, this is something that we were all born into. We're Africans. Like the popular saying goes, we were Africans before we became anything else. And we shouldn't forget our heritage. My great grandfather, this is what they left for us. We can't let it die. We have to carry it on. And traditional institutions play a major role in the development of any society. Um, we, in as much as you have the local government, but everybody have reside in one traditional institution or the other, and it is our role and responsibility to make sure that there is peace in the land, to make sure that there is security in the land, to make sure that people have access to good education, people have access to good water, and so many other government, facilities like that. And so if we see that things are not running, we are we are in the role of going to the government and saying, listen, the people are clamoring for this. Please look into it. You know, if there's any issues here now, before anybody goes to the local government, they'll look for the palace of the Oba and say, Kabisi, there's an issue like this. So we are also like a governmental institution that is closest to the people, to our people. And we have to make sure that um, their rights is protected. So along the line, I had to, explain to my friends, most of my friends, I had to show them, and they started to understand that, okay, okay, and a lot of people started to get interested in it. And over the years, we've seen people like the Oni of Ife, who's also a young person, emerge as Oni. People have seen the new Olu of Wari, who's equally, a British trained like myself, who's now, there in Wari. So I think it's made a lot of people more, um,
So, in light of Nigerians wanting to leave the country in search of greener pasture, it is actually strange to actually know that someone came from that line to want to be here. So, what do you have to say to people in that category?
well, I can understand when people want to say they're tired, they're fed up, they want to relocate. The opportunities are not really there for them and all that. I really can, and I empathize with them. But we should always remember that home, Ilela Bosioko, you know, wherever you go, you need to come back home. I've walked the walk, I've, talked the talk, I've been there, I've done that, and I'm back home. It looks nice, it looks rosy, but at some point, your heart wants to come back home. I mean, you would. I found myself in a situation whereby some days I woke up and my body wasn't just having it again. I was tired. I just wanted a new challenge, and I felt the need. I had to come back home to play my role.
Okay, does this have anything to do with Nigeria being this interesting place? Because I know people in the abroad keep saying, "Oh, in Nigeria, you guys can't even. Okay, we can have as much fun as we want in Nigeria. There's no tax per se, and then abroad, there's limit. If you withdraw this particular amount from your account, you actually get flagged and all of that. So, does this have anything to do with your decision to be home?
No, no, no. My own decision to be home was squarely on what I could do for my society, how I could play, because you see, being over there, you know, there's a certain height you can achieve. It's no matter how you become a citizen and everything, there's, a certain point professionally that you can achieve. And you get to certain points that, they already have a functioning society there. So it's just normal routine for them. But over here, we're still developing. And we need to come back and support the government. It's not about us, all of us being in government, but it's about, in your own little way, what can you do? Um, we are so blessed to have a government in Lagos State now that are young minds. If you look through the cabinet of Mr. Governor, hardly would you find anybody that has not had an international experience. They all do. They've all been there, they've all done that. Some of them came back home and they're all coming to play their role in the development of the society. And that's one thing we all owe this country. Whichever state you are from, as long as you're a Nigerian, you have to come back and play your role.
So now let's delve into spirituality a little. As with most traditional titles, it is expected that certain rites are performed before you can actually sit on a particular place in the palace or hold the title. So will you run us through what it took for you to be the Aro Oba of Elegushi?
Well, the Aro Oba Elegushi of Ikate Kingdom is, it's a white cap chief of Lagos. You are, you receive the keremes, you know, um, which is one of the symbols of Lagos State. If you look at the emblem of Lagos State, and it's a symbol of authority here in Lagos. It's a gazette keremes. That means it's in the law of Lagos State for all white cap chiefs. So some people call us, they refer to us as high chief. Some people say we're white cap chief. If you go into the history of Lagos, you'll find out that the white cap chiefs are like the early. They used to be the main leaders in every community before some of them were upgraded to first class obas. Um, so it's not just an ordinary title; it's a traditional title. Yes, before you become the way a white cap chief, there's certain procedures that have to follow, and but it's also bestowed on you have to come from that family. It's not just something that you can come from outside and say you want to be a white cap chief. No, you have to be full-blooded from that family to become a white cap chief. It's not a honorary title, and you know normal perform, the days that the day you get capped and there's the day you become, you do your iwuye, which is 7 days. When you get capped, you go into seclusion for 7 days. It's called baby. And when you come out of your baby, you now do your iwuye and you are a proper white cap chief.
Okay, so what happens during the Ikpebi?
Well,
Do you get to carry some calabash? Do you just sit somewhere? Do you recite some incantations? Run us through because, yes, we are really interested in this culture as well.
well, if you are from a traditional home, then I think you could speak to the elders there and they could run you through. But being in seclusion is nothing but prayers. You pray for the land, pray, that God grant you the strength to be able to carry out the new role properly. Um, so it's all about prayers. There's nothing else than that.
So, contrary to the belief that you have to drink blood, you have to touch something, or
Nothing like that.
because yes, we ask because when people mention spirituality in this part of the world, we get to to think it's something that has to do with blood, sweat, water, and all the extra stuff that we see in Nollywood movies.
Well, like I said, it's tradition is quite interesting. There are rites that are that have to be performed, um, but this rites as well is nothing but prayers. So it's not like that's bad or that's evil, that that misconception that people have about it. No. And if you look at the monarch today, we're young monarchs. If you look at His Royal Majesty Oba Elegushi, he celebrated his 45th last year, his 46th this year. He's a young monarch, very well known, very outgoing, and he's somebody who's so much very keen on development of the land, who's so much keen on climate change, and so many others like that. So, we don't contradict ourselves. So it's not what people think that, on one side they are evil and on the other side they are, no, 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 it's not like that.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Can we talk a little about remuneration? What are the benefits accrued to being an Aro Oba or a chief in this kingdom?
Well,
Do you get paid monthly? Is that it?
well,
Is it like a normal job?
like the governor said, he said he can't afford my salary, so so I wish he could. This is not a job. This is not a job. You're a royal father, and you are here to be there for your people, to advise, to protect, um, and to find ways in developing the land. Um, so where it's not a paid job, it's something that it's in the family, and some way somehow, if there's some people that have their own private business, they still run their private business alongside this. So we get by some way, and as a real father, if you come here, like you, I'll probably, hopefully, maybe you have brought some gift for me. I don't know. I would really appreciate it. So we're open to everybody, and we're open to every gift.
That's interesting and fascinating. Okay, so with this position now, is it that you've finally thrown your tech personality away, or you still do something by the side?
No, I've not thrown it away. To be honest, it's something that I celebrated 1 year on the throne about 2 Sundays ago, and thank you very much. And the first year had been for me to settle in properly and see, you know, how to get used to it. Because to be honest, I had to get used to this myself. Um, so now that I'm settled, I'm now looking back into this event yesterday came at the right time, to be very honest, because there's always this. You see, once a techie, always a techie. It doesn't leave you. And so this is for me now. It's about time for me to start looking into ways at which I could help the tech world as well, the development of technology, in the Kato Elegushi Kingdom, in Lagos State, Nigeria as a whole. So definitely, and I pray by God's Almighty that, opportunities come where maybe I'm able to consult or advise, and you'll all hear more of me.
Thank you. So, what are some of the challenges that you had in your first year of trying to settle into this position?
Well, trying to understand what the position itself entails. There's some lifestyle changes there. You know, there's some things you can't really do. There used to be Lekan, and where Lekan was the guy that walked around short knicker t-shirts. I love the sea a lot. I used to sail. Um, I used to go out to sea a lot. I love the beach. So there used to be that Lekan that walked around. You find on the boat or freely. But now, you don't really find Lekan again. I had to now get used to it that I can't just go on a boat like that. Some things that I found normal that I felt okay, let me go and do. And like for example, I was telling someone that I wanted to go deep sea diving, scuba diving underwater. If it was when Lincoln's era, I would have done it. But the first thing I got when I said, "Oh, I'm thinking of this," no, no, you can't. Baba, what are you looking for? That water, all those, and it's something I can't, you can't do freely like that again. People would, you know, and when you go out, I'm now very cautious because I'm a representative of this state, of this family. You have to be very cautious. And as a royal father, you know, you have to know that you're there for everybody. I can't take sides. I have to be true, honest. I have to advise you the right way, and I, I can't play politics like that again. So it's a lot of change that you have to be very cautious of what you say, your environment, what you do. Things that before I could just stop anywhere, enter anywhere, sit down there, but now you can't really do that because you have to be careful of the press and all that stuff. I can't go on the dance floor in the club now, start dancing. What will start trending will be look at the royal father Qlux boogieing down. It doesn't kind of like, but notwithstanding, we still, I mean, there's still Lekan, which is just, let's say, redefined Lekan. I'm still there at the beach. I still go out to the beach. I still play my major role in, recycling, climate change. Um, I have a foundation, Lekan Bakare Foundation, set up, focusing on SDG Goal 14, which is the life underwater. Um, I still support different organizations like the RSYA, the Recycling Scheme for Women, Medic, different foundation. I'm still a co-partner of Lagos Coastal Plastic Search, which is a yearly um, cleanup of all our waterways from plastic waste and all that. So I'm still that, and you will still find me in t-shirts and shorts, but with face caps.
Okay. Okay, so apart from the restriction on the lifestyle, are there actually taboos with this position? Because, well, as with every job or position, I know some uniformed officers are not expected to be in the markets while wearing uniforms. So are there taboos or something that you must never do?
I have to always be true. I can't lie. I cannot lie to you. Um, you see, most of us we wear white to signify cleanliness, you know. And no matter how hard it is, I have to advise you the right way. I can't take sides. And what is right. What is wrong is wrong. It's a taboo for me to lead you on. It's a taboo for me to lie to you. It's a taboo for me to belittle this stool here. And it's a big taboo for me to let down my family, the royal kingdom.
Okay. So this white clothes that you wear, yes, I noticed you also had that on at the event that
Yeah.
we had yesterday. Is this the official,
Well,
or you're allowed to wear any other color?
you could wear some other bright colors, yes, but white signifies cleanliness, signifies purity, exactly. So that's why we all love to wear white. We prefer to wear white. And yes, yesterday you saw me in my full regalia with my keremesi on. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Is there something you'd like to say out there to young people, to the government, to the people, to the tech world?
Yeah. First of all, yesterday's event was an amazing one. I want to congratulate Google, YOI, WIOCC. I want to congratulate the state government, the federal agencies, everyone. It's a big congratulations to us all because honestly, we don't know what we went to celebrate. We really don't know the gravity of what we celebrated yesterday until we see it in action. And for the youth, I want them to be more encouraging of the government, be more proud of your society. Um, Social media is good, but to some extent, I think we need to realize that it's not the real world. Criticism is good, but constructive criticism is good. You know, I see so many comments on some posts on Instagram and everything. I'm quite active on social media, by the way. And it's as if people just read the headline. They don't really read the story behind it, and they start to criticize, which is very unfortunate. And our society is we are in charge today, but we're going to hand over to the youths tomorrow. They are already in government, the youths. They say it's time for the youths, but the youths are already in government. The youths that are in government, query them, ask them, what have they done? What direction are they leading you guys? Because, this country, you own it tomorrow. So it's about time that you start to be active and be real with your society and with yourself. And, for the traditional home is we all come from a certain traditional home. We belong somewhere. Please inquire. Knowledge is key. Get to know where you come from. It's very important. You need to know your roots. If you don't know where you're coming from, you really won't know where you're going to. And for you all, members of the press, well done. Keep doing a good job. But please, whatever you put out there, make sure it's real. Encourage. Let's have more of issues facing us as a country, as a nation. One thing that's facing us as a world, as a planet, is climate change. Talk more about climate change. Get more people involved in climate change. Let people understand the importance of recycling. Let's have such discussions. What are people doing in their own little ways to recycle? Because if we put our recyclable products, if we put them in the right places, it will help ease flooding in the land, in the states, and so many other ways that we're being affected by climate change. We all have a role to play, and there's nowhere to hide for anybody on this one. This one is affecting us as a planet, not just maybe as a state. So we're all in this together, and by the special grace of God, God will see us through our heart desires. God will protect us. Our going, our coming will be safe by the grace of God. No evil shall prosper over us, our home, our land, our nation, and great things. We'll definitely be celebrating great things in all our homes, in the special grace of God.
So one last one. This title, the Aro Oba of Elegushi, is a lifetime position, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there is no chances of you saying I'm running back to the US or the UK, Europe, wherever, anytime soon.
No transfer, no promotion, and
No leave, no transfer.
no leave, no transfer. No, it's a lifetime position. It's for the rest of my life, and it's yeah, sure, I do travel out and everything, but I also have a principal, His Royal Majesty, who would knock on your door if you were stay your holiday. But again, like I said, it's not that it's restricting you in any way from doing anything, but you just have to be on the path of righteousness.